color, you'll find that we have albino in class. So once the teacher know the difference, he'll be able to understand the individual genetic endowment and not discriminate them.
That is so that the teacher can have what we call classroom management and tolerance, where every member of the classroom is considered to be unique and they are supposed to be accepted the way they are. Thank you. Yes, Rosaida. Rosaida, your response is the same. Okay, no response. Jacqueline.
Yes, it also helps a teacher to plan for educational resources for these learners in class.
The teacher plans on how to get the educational resources for these learners. Anthony Matege.
Helps the teacher to cater for each individual needs among the learners, and also find out a way of reaching each learner by making everything child-centered.
Right, thank you very much. I still see hands. Alicia.
Enables the teacher to accommodate each learner with their differences.
Thank you very much. Right. Thank you very much. I got into a mess with the other device. Mary Gatanga.
Enables the teacher to come up or rather identify the mode of assessment to use on such learners with the individual differences.
Yes. Thank you too. Jacqueline, check your hand is still up unless you did not lower it. Jacqueline. Be able to develop a positive attitude towards all learners and also for early identification and correct placement. Yes, somebody was calling.
I think it enables a teacher to praise the runners appropriately. Or placement.
For early identification and placement. All right. So when we talk about reasons for exposing a special needs education teacher to the knowledge of individual differences, the question is simply asking us how we can now, once you have been exposed, the importance of getting exposed when it comes to dealing with these learners with the special needs. Discuss 4 precautions that can be taken to avoid to child transmission diseases during prenatal period, But before we answer that question, I want to maybe try to jog our mind a bit by asking you a question here. That is, what is the meaning of the word prenatal or the prenatal period? What is prenatal period?
Is it prenatal or perinatal?
Sorry, perinatal period.
Birth process.
It's a bit.
During
Process.
Many people are talking. I just wanted one person to respond so that we can at least get what you're saying.
During birth process.
Perinatal is during birth process. Now, we also have the prenatal. What about the prenatal?
Before birth.
Before birth. So we have the prenatal before birth, perinatal during birth, and then we have postnatal, meaning
After birth.
After birth. Now you also need to know that all these periods, they come and they have their challenges that can be experienced and their difficulties that can be experienced at each and every period. But now in this case, we are looking at what precautions can be taken to avoid child-mother transmission of diseases during the birth process. During the birth process,
Oscar,
Damaris?
by ensuring that the equipment used during the process are hygienically clean.
By ensuring that the equipment used during the birth process are hygienically clean.
What about?
Yes.
What about for the case of HIV and AIDS mother who is infected? Can we say that making sure the mother is under medication before, yani is under the medication to prevent the child from infecting the HIV and AIDS? So during that process, the doctor ensures that the mother has been on medication.
Pascal.
Right, that is very true, Damaris. Puri?
Okay, I think another one is ensuring that the delivery is done or conducted by a specialist, a trained specialist, not a quack.
Ensuring that delivery is done by a trained specialist. Remember some years back, our mothers, the women then will give birth even at their own houses. But today, things are changing. Somebody should get to the health facility, health center, where now the birth process is conducted by a trained professional. It is very unfortunate that people who have been entrusted with such responsibilities, some of them become negligent and they even end up, killing the clients whom they are supposed to have saved. But all the same, it is advisable that we go to the hospital where the delivery is done. And one more person. One more person on the same. Right, I want us to carry on because of time. So we looked at how children may attain problem-solving skills during the sensory motor stage. Now, I want still to remind us about we are having, according to Jean Piaget, we are having the 4 stages of the cognitive development. Just very fast, you mention a stage and you mention the age bracket. So what are the, in order, what are the Jean Piaget 4 stages of cognitive development? iPhone.
A sensory motor that is from 0 to 2 years.
Thank you very much. Sensory motor 0 to 2 years. Jacqueline?
We have pre-operational stage, that is 2 years to 7 years.
Pre-operational stage 2 to 7 years. So they are over. Are they over?
We have concrete operational stage, that is 11 years to, 7 to 11 years.
7 to 11
And
years.
then
Finally,
a formal operational stage, 12 and above. Yes.
yes.
Formal operational.
Formal operational 12 and above, 12 years plus. So according to the sensory motor stage, remember that 0 to 2 years, the child may, especially when they have a need to express, from 0 years, the child may end up just cry to express their need. They may also use their sense of touch to find out if people are there, or to get whatever they can get. And remember, they are always using their mouth. They are always, anything that touches the mouth, they know that that should be something that is edible. And they also manipulate their environment by looking, using the eyes. The child may look at the environment over and over again, we also talked about benefits of peer relationships in behavior management. We talked about peer modeling. We not explain much about it. Peer counseling. We talked about peer confrontation, where children of a certain age just confront their colleague who is wrong, who has done a mistake, to try to let them know that what they have done is wrong. Then we also have the peer mediation, and also the peer monitoring. Ways a teacher may enhance creativity in learners. How can you, as a teacher, enhance the creativity of your learners? By number one, setting up learning activities that will allow students or your learners to explore their creativity in relevant, interesting, worthwhile ways. When you set up learning activities, it means you want to empower your learners. When you also value creativity and you celebrate and you reward it, those learners that have not just a few, but all of them, they need to be, to be appreciated. And when a few are rewarded, now those that are not rewarded feel part. They also want to be rewarded next time, and they will try as much as their level best to make sure that they also get the reward. And in so doing, you realize that the performance will also be improving. You also teach the students or learners the other skills that they may need to be, the other skills they need to be creative, remove constraints for creativity, and give the students space and a framework in which they can be creative. And then you can as well ask open-ended questions. Open-ended questions, questions that need variety of answers. They are not yes or no answers needed, but they need variety of answers. Depending with how each and every learner is well based on the question that has been asked. Then 7 reasons for exposing the special needs education teacher to the knowledge of individual differences. Remember that the top reason is for himself to give different teaching methods that fits the class in overall. So when you are now preparing your lesson, you should give different teaching methods that fits the class. And when the teacher know, sorry, there is a problem there. When the teacher know how students know should be his student different abilities and intellectual understanding, he will also be able to shape each one's personality. Talk about those who are having some weird behavior. The teacher will try to, to shape them and remove the bad ones. Remember, according to the behaviorist theories, that says that behavior, that all human beings are good, and it also states that behavior can be learned, it can be relearned, it can also be, it can be learned, it can be unlearned, it can also be relearned. And then for easy goal and objective setting, when you are exposed, you are not going to set too high goals that you're not going to reach, and also to develop their talents, and also you can also plan the classroom activities appropriately. Finally, under this slide, that's 4 precautions that can be taken to avoid mother-to-child transmission of diseases during perinatal period. That is from labor to the time. The mother may receive antenatal services and HIV testing during pregnancy. And what happened? The mother is found to be HIV positive. The mother is going to be put on the drugs, and then have access to an antiretroviral treatment. Now, what is this? Somebody who has the knowledge of this is going to tell us once I've gone through this slide. They also need to practice safe childbirth practices and appropriate infant feeding. So during the delivery, of course, safe childbirth practices will have to be practiced. We are also going to look at which are these safe childbirth practices, and they can also make use of infant HIV testing and other postnatal healthcare services, just in case the child is also found to be positive by the time of birth. Then the child is put on immediate measures on how to counteract the situation that is likely to be an ugly thing in the life of the child. So let's start with the first one up there. What are these ART, antiretroviral treatment? What is this? Yes.
Basket. Let me try.
Yes.
When you talk of RT, I think these are type of it goes for these matters who are HIV positive. So they are given a type of exercise they can do and the type of food to eat so that they can maintain their health status as they live with this virus.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I was expecting another hand, but now that there is no any other hand, I think we look at what are these safe childbirth practices that need to be also exercised? Yes? Childbirth practices that are appropriate and that needs to be exercised during the delivery process. To save on time, please go look at that so that you also give us your report on the same tomorrow. We are having 15 minutes to 10, and it is my wish that we finish these questions that I'm displaying. Number 5, Identify 4 challenges that a class teacher may encounter when fostering partnership with parents. This is one of the easiest questions. What are some of the challenges? Now, let me drive you away from the question. What are some of the challenges that you as a class teacher, you are encountering today when you are trying to have what we call parental involvement in the education of their children? Actually, that is what the question
Pascal,
is looking for. Yes, Damaris?
negative attitude by the parent and
Negative attitude, yes.
children. Nimesema negative attitude.
The negative attitude, that is either from both negative attitude from the parent about
By the parent and
yes,
the child.
the child. Rosaida?
Denial of the condition of the
Yeah, Rosaida?
Nirusha nje.
denial of the condition of the learner.
Denial of the condition of the learner. Very true. Most parents are living in the shadow of denial. They may not want the teacher to know that, for example, if my child is epileptic, I may just assume it and I want the school to find it for themselves. But no, the parent will deny and deny and deny and deny. And the moment, the more the parent deny, the more the injury gets its roots deep into maybe the life of the child. Hey, those points are very few that have been mentioned and I can't see hands. Rosaida, your hand is still up. Right. The rest, what are you saying? Susan?
There's a lot of opposition from the
Yes.
side of the parents. You want to initiate something and the parents oppose. Alafu, we also have another one, lack of role models. You realize some of these parents are not role models. They take drugs. Some of them, they even incite the pupils, such things. Thank you.
Welcome. Daniel, Eregai Daniel.
Some parents are poor role models.
That is poor role modeling from the side of the parent. Okay. Sorry, I did not display the question. That is question number 5A, is what we are looking at. And I'm not going to accept any other response towards that question. I want us to look at part B. Examine 6 strategies that parents will use to facilitate the development of first language in children. How do you, as a parent, facilitate the development of the first language in your child? Now, let me tell you a bit of a story. A parent, this is a Sudanese parent, decided to employ a Ugandan girl as a nanny to take care of the daughter. Now, when the Ugandan girl came, the Ugandan girl was only able to speak English. And 3 months down the line, the Ugandan girl was fired, and a Sudanese girl was employed. Somewhere, I think 5 months, Evie, the Sudanese girl left, and a Kenyan lady was employed. I'm telling you today, the child is, I think, 6 years with poor developed language. That is very simple. And you can see how that child was messed up by the parent. examines the strategies that you'll use to facilitate, Sylvia Kirubo, development of first language in children. Sylvia?
The parent should encourage talking to the child more oftenly in that first language.
The parent should encourage, that is the conversation with the child in that language.
Did you get me?
Got you very right, thank you.
Pascal,
yes.
I think the role of the parents to provide some materials to their children so that they can learn the first language and do educate them or guide them how to read.
The parent to provide materials written in that language. Materials written in that language to facilitate or to enhance the mastery and the fluency. Susan?
Being consistent in that same language before introducing another language.
Being consistent in the, when it comes to speaking, being consistent in that language before introducing the other language. And remember, the first language is very important. This is what will now connect the child to whatever they're learning. Look at you. When a question is asked, you always try to interpret that question in maybe the first language that you understand better before you answer it. So you can see how first language is very important. Sylvia? Sylvia Kerubo? Right, Sylvia, you are not responding?
No, I forgot to lower my hand.
Okay, Daniel?
Okay, you encourage the child to speak in that particular language more often.
Encouraging the child to speak in that language more often. You avoid somebody saying you can also use the use of songs that are within that language, and then introducing the first language, not 3 languages at a go. Introducing the first language and sticking to that.
Pascal?
Yes, Jacqueline?
I think even the parents should be the role model to speak that language so that the learners of the children to copy or to imitate from their parents.
Yes, the parents being the role model in the spoken language so that their children can also cope up or imitate that language or the use of that language. Yes?
My heart is still up.
Yes.
What about proper pronunciation?
That is, you know, yeah, you know, when the children are speaking, they are likely to make mistakes. So we can frame it and say that correcting the children with love, whenever they speak the language or some words or phrases wrongly. But you know, most of the parents will take they will try to comfort the child by speaking, actually repeating after the child that which the child has spoken. So this child is not going to learn. This child will know that is how the maybe the word is spoken, and they will grow up knowing that one until when one day they mess up themselves. So it is very prudent that when the child has spoken in that first language wrongly, it is good that the parent, you correct it immediately, but corrected out of love. Susan, I hope you got that.
Yeah, I got it. You don't use the child's language.
You don't use the child's language. You correct the child, so that now every time the child speaks the wrong one, you correct. Every time, then the child will now stick to the other one. Remember, one of the methods of behavior management, we talk about overcorrection. And when you overcorrect a child, their curiosity will always remain up. And when they are speaking, they will make sure that they speak it correctly now. Let's look at C. Explain ways through which a teacher may ensure success during client-centered approach to counseling. Ways through which a teacher may ensure success during client-centered approach to counseling.
Pascal,
Jacqueline?
now can we understand first what is this client-centered approach in counseling and guidance and counseling?
So somebody to maybe explain the client-centered approach in guidance and counseling, please. Client-centered approach, somebody? Sylvia? Sylvia? Sylvia, your hand is up. You're waiting for your response, please. Okay, somebody to Julie.
I think this is the type of counseling. Hey, am I audible from your side?
Very well. Very well.
Yeah, I think it's the type of counseling where the client is at the center, like all attention and everything within the counseling is focused on the client. Client is given the first priority.
Thank you very much. Can we also hear from 91, 91, 25? Your hand is up. DSN EIE 91, 91, 25.
Yeah, so about that, it is it say that let the person not dominate. Let the client take his time well. The counselor should not dominate all the process, so that it can now be sent that to the person who are through the problem. That's the counseling.
Right. I got you very well, my brother from Trans Nzoia now.
Thank you.
That is now the counselor is not taking or dominating the counseling process, but the counselee is allowed, because now he's the one with the problem. He's now the one who is allowed to dominate. So how can a teacher ensure success during client-centered approach to counseling? Yes?
Pascal,
Yeah, please.
I think the teacher should create good rapport before the client.
Creating a good rapport with the client, so that creating a good rapport means you give them a reasons to confide in you. Techno, come on, 18. Techno, come on, 18, unmute and respond.
Okay, providing the client with conditions of genuine empathy.
Providing the client with conditions of genuine empathy. That is empathy. Now,
Yeah.
what is empathy?
Putting yourself in one's shoes.
Yes, putting yourself in one's shoes. That is looking at a problem as if you're the one who has the problem, or who is being faced with the problem. We are not going to take much time there. Somebody, yes?
Giving positive regards to the client by appreciating and trusting the client as well.
Yes, by appreciating and trusting the client as well. When they tell you something, it is good that you appreciate and so that they can speak more of it, so that they can speak even that which is at the depth of the heart. You know, there's a client who may have come to you for counseling, guidance and counseling, and he comes where at the back of the mind they know that after the guidance and counseling, there is somebody is going to hack with a knife or with a panga, so they are going to kill. But you know, when you empathize with them, the client will speak more and say that even here I've carried a panga to go and do this. Somebody says giving the client time to express himself without interruption, right? And also being calm is very important, providing a very serene environment and assuring them that whatever you are going to talk about is going to be confidential. And remember, we talked about the confidentiality during the guidance and counseling. However, there are situations that may lead to breach of the confidentiality, especially under some conditions. What are some of the conditions that may lead to the breach of the confidentiality aspect during the guidance and counseling practicum?
Number one, Pascal.
Jacqueline, yes.
If you need another
When the
counselor,
client is in danger.
And the client is in danger. Yes, Jacqueline, you are responding?
if you need a more experienced counselor to take over from yours.
That is when you are making, when you are doing a referral, or also when the client is in danger or another person is in danger, the client is maybe is planning to go and do something bad. So now you are likely, or you realize that the client comes to you, he says that, you know, I have killed so and so, I've thrown him away. You are not going to keep it to yourself because it is guidance and counseling. You will have to breach the code of confidentiality. Susan.
Okay, you can as well make the clients part and parcel in decision making. For example, choosing the days to be coming in, and maybe in a day, the time, the specific time.
Right, that is allowing them to make sound and correct judgments according to themselves, right? Thank you very much. It is already 10:03 and we have not looked at question number 6. What do we do?
We just finish.
Ogada.
Can you just we just go through them and finish?
Wada alienda Jamhuri ni Madaraka akachoka, ni kama amelala.
Kalala aje na anaona kichwa chake kiko hapa ndani darasani, anatuwekea dami nini kwa simu, si ndio?
Situmalizie tu hayo maswali machache amebaki.
I also have a feeling that we finish with question number 6 so that tomorrow we can look at something. Yes. If you don't mind, tomorrow we begin by looking at the slide with the answers and then we go to another year. Distinguish between learning by mastery and learning by discovery. Learning by mastery. What is learning by mastery? And what is learning by discovery?
Pascal.
Yes, Damaris.
Learning by discovery, actually jaribu hiyo. Happens when the learner is given time to learn or discover something by him or herself.
By finding out something by himself or by herself, that is by discovery. What about by mastery? Somebody learning
when the learner is given time to learn or discover something by him or herself.
That is discovery, right?
Yes.
Somebody to tell us about learning by mastery.
By mastery, I think this one should happen when the learner has a content on the issue or has a knowledge about something that he or she is learning. So learning by mastery happens when the learner has comprehension or comprehensive knowledge about something.
Right. If there is no any other response, then I'm tempted to move to question 6B. But you'll always look for the two terms under the types of learning. Describe 4 projective test techniques that a teacher can use to identify learners with emotional problems. Projective test techniques that you teacher can use to identify learners with emotional problems. This is now from module number 11. Yes? Silence means that, Susan?
I want to try, but I'm not sure. By use of observation method, whereby you observe the behaviors of learners, or a learner, either learners or a learner. Use of observation.
Okay, now we are talking about projective test techniques. That's good trial. We are looking at projective test techniques. Oh, Sylvia.
How about the use of interview method?
The use of interview method.
I'm not sure though.
It's also a good trial. Julia?
Sociometric test, and the other one is about tree top something.
The thematic perception test. The thematic perception test.
That was also very close. Please, let us take this question number 6B, so that we can look at it well, because naona inatupiga chenga kidogo, so that we can have a look at it tomorrow. Tomorrow, please, let us take that as a takeaway so that we can have a look at it kindly. Let's look at question 6C. That is, discuss 4 ways in which a teacher can promote moral values in learners during the conventional learn level according to Kohlberg's. According to Kohlberg. According to Kohlberg. Now, when we talk about Kohlberg's and another theorist, this was known as, there's a theorist we talked about up here. What was his name? We talked about the cognitive development theory. Who was this? Jean Piaget.
Jean Piaget.
So we have the Jean Piaget and the Kohlbergs. The two talked about the, of course, the cognitive development
morality.
theory. But now, how can you as a teacher promote moral values in learning? During the convectional level, kuna mtu anapiga vitu hapa, sijui ni nani. But we are talking about, according to Kohlberg, we are talking about the, of course, he talked about the moral development. And according to Kohlberg, there were 3 stages or 3 levels of moral development. And the first one was the conventional, sorry, in the pre-conventional, where the child obeys the authority, and maybe obeys the laws because there is authority who is the parent. Now the child has to obey because he knows if he disobey, there is a punishment, either by caning. So in this pre-conventional of the moral development, the child becomes obedient because there is an aversive, there is a consequence, and there is somebody under the, there's somebody who is in authority who will now make sure that if they disobey, they are punished. Then we have the convectional, of course, the convectional, the level 2, where there is law and order. And here, children likes because they are appraised. Oh, good boy, good girl. When they are appraised, they tend to do things in the right way to win the affection of the one in authority, so that even when they are wrong, their mistake may be overlooked. And then we have the post-convectional, where now there are principles. There are principles that must be observed, and the child will always try to make sure that they meet the obligations that are always sidelined together with the principles. So when we talk about the moral development by Kohlberg, it was in 3 levels. Level 1 is pre-convectional, level 2 is convectional, and then we have the post-convectional. So how can you promote moral values in learners? Let's forget about the Kohlberg thing, but how can you promote moral values in your learners in your classroom?
Pascal,
Yes, Jacqueline.
I think when you want to promote moral value is by reinforcing positive when you reward positive what behaviors and punishing in that.
Rewarding the positive behavior.
And again, we can promote both morality by being the role model. If you are a teacher, should always be a role model in class, so that we can the runners to imitate.
Role model. Maybe the last one. Yeah, you can also promote it by teaching your learners, by teaching it to the learners. You can also promote it by teaching it to the learners that why the importance, why they are supposed to be morally upright. You can also be, as Jacqueline has said, you can also do it by being you yourself being a role model, where you don't tell learners not to abuse when they can spot you abusing, abusing people or using a vulgar language. They may not have a reason why they should trust your words, even if you are their senior. Up to this point, members, I want us to stop. It is 14 minutes past our agreed time, but we are having very few days. We are having very few days to go, and you can see that time is rolling down very fast. And therefore, let us try as much as we can to put our house in order. We are going to look at the next paper, Psychology, 9101, 102, module number 3, number 2, number 3, number 5, number 11, the year 2013. We are going to look at the year 2013, module number 2, 3, 5, 11. So I want to say thank you for attending. And up to this point, I want us to bow our heads even as we close with a word of prayer. So our God in heaven, once again, we are thankful for this far you brought us. We are getting to bless our Master and our Redeemer. We are asking of thee that God may you watch over us through the night. And Lord, as we work around the clock to ensure that we succeed, Lord in heaven, we commit and trust everything under your hands. We want to remember our colleagues who managed to attend, those who did not manage to attend. Put us all together, Lord, and may you help us to make it to the top, because we ask in Jesus' name. Amen. And good night. Good night.